Welcome to another video. In this video, I would be taking you through all the latest AI app builders, Lovable, V0, Bolt.new. And honestly, I've tried all of them and I'm a big fan. I've used them for more than 60 hours. I've built more than 10 apps out of them. So in this video, I would be taking you through all of these platforms and I would be doing certain tasks across all of them to see that which one performs better on which kind of use cases so that you can choose which is the right platform for you to build your next app. I would be trying out Lovable, I would be trying out V0 and Bold. All of them are very much similar in how they look. The first task that I want to do with all of them is to see that how well they replicate a screenshot. So I would be going to Airbnb's website since I like the design of the website the most. So I will go to the website, I will take up a screenshot and I will give the same screenshots to all the three builders. I will keep the prompt sweet and simple. I will mention that I want to replicate the screenshot with the exact text and the elements. I will copy the same image in the other builders as well. If you see in terms of UI, all of these apps look very much similar. They are basically a chat interface where you can build while you are chatting with them. So that's very much intuitive. It's like just using a chatbot. So there is not much difference in that terms, but let's see the output of all these three apps. I see that it has already started producing code. Let's see what it says. So it is building me a React application and using Tailwind CSS for styling. I see that an error has appeared. Let's try fixing this error. Once I fix this, okay, now the project runs, but the UI looks really terrible. This is nothing like what we wanted to build out of this. So overall, I think it has done pretty bad job at creating all the components. Although there are all the relevant things, but this looks more like a list rather than an app. This is nowhere similar to the screenshot that we provided. So, so it has tried building some of these components. It also has the icons, but this is not exactly what I wanted to build. Let's see. Moving on to V0, the output is better and the UI is also responsive. There are all the icons and the different cards that we wanted. It's not responsive as of now, but it's a good wireframe to start with. The icons the icons are apt for the use case. Plus, there is also the search bar. If I compare it with the original UI, I see all the different components within the search bar as well. Plus, there is a hover effect on the buttons on the header. So, in terms of response, this is fairly better. Let's move on to Lovable. So, on Lovable, I think it has run into an error. Let's try to fix this. This is the best output that I've seen from all the app builders today. It has probably everything that the screenshot had. It has also generated images. It has got these images from some source, but it has also put up placeholder images over here. It has all the tabs that we shown in the picture. I don't know why in place of the logo it has some picture, which is I think basically the image that we shared with it. But apart from that, this is really good. The UI has all the components. The color is exactly the same that we shown in the screenshot. And this also has the hover functionality where the image slightly pops out when we hover over this. This is a really nice touch. I've seen the result of all the three AI app builders in the first task. I would rate Lovable's response to be the best out of the three. The reason is because it has replicated the UI to the most extent. Plus, it also have this sweet hover effect. It has created the entire search bar on the top, and it has also put up placeholder images. The second for me would be clearly V0, and the third would be Bolt. So just to be sure that we are trying out all of these to the major extent, I will try out one another thing with Bolt. So I would be using this option where I can create a UI using ChatCN along with Bolt. So technically this would be using a template. Capture the screenshot again from here. It ran into an error. Let's okay. So definitely using a template really helps when you're using Bolt. But again, I will rank this on the third if I have to compare all the three app builders again. So the next task that I want to try out with all these apps builder is creating a simple app that uses a backend or a database. I want to create a note-taking app with all of them to just check that how difficult or easy it is to use Superbase with all of them. So I will build a simple note-taking app. I want to integrate Superbase for saving responses, and I want it to display all the saved notes on the dashboard. So let me try the same prompt with all the three builders. Let's push this here. I'm not sure how all of them connects with Superbase and what would be the next step for them to connect with my Superbase dashboard. But let's see how that goes. I see a connect to Superbase button on Bolt. I see the same button on Lovable as well. However, on V0, there is no direct option to integrate with Superbase on the screen at least. Let's start with Bolt. So over here, I see that it has directly given me a command to connect with Superbase. Let's click on this. This redirects me to my Superbase screen. Let's just log in here and see how this connects with it. Authorize Bolt. It is directly creating a project inside my Superbase account. It is also setting up authentication. Actually, I did not ask for it in the first version of the app, but anyways, that was the next step for this app. So let's see if this can create the authentication and the database for the app in one go. Meanwhile, let's finish the authentication process on Lovable. Lovable has a direct integration. So let's click on this option. Let's click on connect Superbase. Let's click on this. And I see again, Lovable also has a direct API integration with Superbase. So I will accept this. The integration on Lovable is much more better than Bolt, because on Bolt I cannot select if I would want to connect the project to an existing existing database on my Superbase dashboard, but on Lovable I can select if I want it to connect to an existing database or if I want to create a new project. Choose an existing project over here. We'll connect to it one of the existing projects. I think this would take a minute. So meanwhile, let's switch back to Bolt to see the progress. Let's click on apply changes. Let's log in here. There is a problem that came up. Let's click on attempt fix. Well, that must be real. Then how did I go? There is another error. Let's click on this attempt fix button again. But even with the native integration, this is facing so many errors. So this would be taking up a lot of credits. Even if you have a paid account, this would take up a lot of credits. But anyways, now this is working. Let's try logging in. I will put in my email here. Oh, actually, I would have to sign up. So let's sign up first. Would put up my email and I will create a password. I've signed in on the app now. So let's create a new note here. I will click on new note, give it a title, first note. Let's save this. And I can see the note on the screen. I can edit the note. I can also delete the note. Let's create another note. Overall, the process was quite smooth. The only thing that I had to do was connect my Superbase account, and after that, it ran into some errors itself, but it fixed them itself as well. So overall, I really like the experience. This was really fast. If you ask a developer to make it easily, they will take 20 or 30 minutes just to build out this entire segment. Let's see how Lovable did on this part. So it is saying it has implemented the entire app. I see a sign up screen as the homepage. So instead of sign in, let's select sign up. I will put in my email here. I will put in my password. The experience so far has been very similar to Bolt. I think both of them have very similar kind of integrations. Oh wow. So Lovable has also built a email confirmation flow along with the direct sign up. I've confirmed my sign up and after that, let's try signing in. I'm signed in. There are so the interface slightly different. Over here I have two screens, my notes and create note. If I go on create note, create a note, save it, saves the note as successfully created. I cannot edit the note, but I can delete it here and it has been deleted. If I create another note again, it is created. I also see the date it was created on. And overall, the UI is quite clean. It looks polished. This is much better. I think one plus that it had on top of Bolt is that without asking, it also built out a email verification process. But so far, I really love the response on both the apps. Let's go to V0 now. So V0 ran into an error. It does not have a Superbase project URL and surface role key. So it does not seem that it have a native integration with it. We would have to put in our database keys and your API keys over here. Let's grab our project URL. So it is showing us the same error again. I'm not sure what is causing this, but let's try doing something else. Let's try pasting our keys directly in the code. I'm not sure what the error is, but so far I think integrating Superbase with V0 is very, very cumbersome. It's similar to how you would have to do it when you are coding manually, because I find the experience to be not very intuitive. This is also very buggy. We are also going through the same errors again and again. For the second task, I would rate Lovable and Bolt to 3 stars each. Both of them were quite smooth. While V0 was a really terrible experience, I could not even build out the entire app. So that would get 1 star from me. Next up, I want to check that how well all of these perform when we want to deploy these apps on a domain of ourselves. This we can do either by exporting these projects or we can directly deploy them on these platforms itself. So I will start with Bolt. So I will try deploying this. So I see that this is deploying it using Netlify. So it is building the application and then it would be deploying it on Netlify. I see also an option to download the code base. I don't want to directly do that. See a URL on which this was deployed. This was quite straightforward. I think the only limitation over here is that we can only deploy this code using Netlify. So if we want to use Vercel or any other tool like Replit for this, then that won't be possible. Let's try this out with Lovable. So let's try deploying this code. The limitation over here is that we would have to make this code public if we want to deploy it. Apart from that, this code is directly transferred to our GitHub profile, so we can deploy it from there as well. This is a really nice touch. I think this allows you to get this code or take this code anywhere, and you can edit this on your cursor dashboard, and you can also edit it on Lovable. Coming on to V0. So for V0, again, we can deploy this if we connect it to a project. Let's create a new project. And we can directly deploy. But if we have to deploy it on a personal domain, so for that, we would have to add this to our code base, and then we can do that. So that process seems a bit more lengthy. Out of all of them, I feel that the entire process with Bolt and Lovable are far more superior. The process was not that cumbersome with V0 either, but since there was no option to add a custom domain or export the code base directly, so that makes it difficult for anyone to export the code. That was a very brief overview of all of these apps. My personal take would be to go with Lovable or Volt. Personally, Lovable is the best one out there if you are a first time app builder, because you can create or replicate a screenshot from the scratch. You can directly connect your Superbase account over there to come up with auth and database, and all of the entire process is very smooth. Plus, you can push the code to Vercel. I think the second best for me would be Bolt, because it pretty much does the same. I think the only lacking part was that it is not that good with UIs. Do let me know what you think about this. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.